Welcome everyone to the Civitai.com stream. How is everyone today? Give me 1 second to get things started. Hey Daz. Hey guys, I'm gonna wait a minute or two until everyone trickles in before we start things off. Let me adjust things here a little bit. Hello. Dates are shuffled. Yes, that's right. We'll talk about this in just a second. All right. Seems like we're on. We're still not live on Civitai yet. Let's give it a second until the Twitch indicator appears. This might be a long one, guys. There's a lot to cover. So I hope you've got your diapers and or piss flask ready. I've got mine ready. Come on website. Show me that we're live. The downside of streaming this way with Restream means that I can't queue this up beforehand. We don't have a starting soon screen. We're straight into the action. Let's just go for it. Okay, so welcome to the Civitai.com Twitch stream, or general stream, I suppose now. I'm your host, Ali, Civitai's Community Engagement Manager, and we're about to do Monday's office hours. This is your chance to bring me your questions and your concerns about Civitai.com, and I will give you all some updates on what we've been doing behind the scenes. If you don't know what Civitai is, we are a platform for the creation and the sharing of AI-generated art and the tools to make that art. We're swiftly becoming the Times Square of generative AI as creators flock to Civitai to share their generative AI artworks. We have a huge community, multiple millions, 90,000 strong Discord community at discord.gg/Civitai, which is full of great content. So if you're watching on Twitch, please head over to the Discord. I'd really encourage you to check that out if you're new to AI art or new to Civitai. And conversely, if you're watching via the stream on the homepage of Civitai, which should be streaming now, so I'm being told, yep, live on Twitch. If you scroll down the homepage a little, this stream will appear. Let's have a look, see if I can see myself. Yep, there I am. So you can watch on the Civitai homepage, but I would encourage you to head over to Twitch or the other socials and follow us there. When do we stream? If you're watching on Twitch, you can check out the schedule down below, and you can catch me every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. My colleague Tyler has special guest interviews and AI video tutorial content on his slots every Thursday and Friday. You may have noticed that there's no Monday office hours now. That is a change, as brought up by Daz just at the start of the stream. With the recent reshuffle of responsibilities, it's become too difficult for me to fit Monday's stream in. So we're changing to a single midweek office hours update for you all. Before I do go on, some of you may be expecting the Twitch bingo to start, and I'm sorry to say that that's also on hold until further notice. We have a lot to cover today, and yeah, we just have to really get into it, I'm afraid. Let's see. Yes, furthermore, we will not be streaming on Discord any longer. So if you were following me over there, please hop it over to one of the other social platforms, Twitch, or we're streaming on YouTube, we're streaming on Twitter or X, and we're also streaming on LinkedIn should you wish to follow us there. Or like I said, you can watch us on the main Civitai.com site. Right, let's get into it. For those of you who don't know already, and I can't imagine that there will be many of you left, Maxfield, our co-founder and chief operating officer, left us for pastures new on Friday of, was it only last week? It feels like it's an eternity ago. He has resigned his position, effective immediately. He was with us for 2 years. He was instrumental in shaping and pushing the company forward during that time. His work was a big part of our growth, and he was an integral member of our community and our leadership team. So we are extremely grateful. You're Taku. They can't hear you. What are you saying? You guys can hear me, right? I've not just said all this whole spiel and you nobody's heard me. Okay, obviously you can. Maxfield's been in the chat. Yeah, so Max, we're all extremely, we're extremely grateful for the hard work and the dedication that he put in. Um, and a huge thanks obviously goes out to him. And we hope for future success for Max, wishing him all the best. What does it mean for the company and the community? Well, we'll absolutely miss him, of course, no doubt. But it's business as usual for the most part. But of course, we are now down a key player in what is already a very small team. So a couple of us have had to take on more responsibilities. And as I mentioned, that has already led to the reduction in the office hours streams. Bit of reshuffling there. Your attacker means for the people waiting on Discord for my stream. Right, yes. I've already told them that they're going to have to jump across. Yeah. I did stop streaming officers on Discord, yes. Okay, first item on the agenda is site stability. So Monday was particularly bad. I think we were in maintenance mode 5 times, maybe 6. There are a lot of compounded issues which have been stacking up, and one of the worst offenders is a technology that we use called Redis. Redis stands for Remote Dictionary Server, I believe. And it's a super fast in-memory database that keeps information handy for quick access. It's commonly used to store data that a website or an application needs to retrieve very quickly, things like user sessions, cache data, or live updates for live services. For a website like Civitai, speed and responsiveness are critical, don't laugh. Redis helps us handle lots of traffic. When there's lots of users browsing the website, Redis quickly delivers the data without bogging down our main Postgres database. It helps us cache important data. So instead of fetching from Postgres over and over repeatedly, it keeps that in memory for fast retrieval. And Redis also supports our real-time features like notifications, the DM system, that's all powered by Redis. But because it operates in memory, that also causes problems for us. So recently it's been filling all our available RAM. When that happens, it falls over. It's a critical part of the site, so when it gets into difficulties, the whole site suffers. To make matters more complex, we have multiple Redis instances. You may have noticed that you were logged out recently when we had these issues, and that is because Redis keeps that information in memory, and when we lose that memory, your session information has gone. That's why you have to log in again. So DevOps guys have been working with the site devs to optimize what we're storing in Redis, get better memory management in place, more efficient queries, etc., and all sorts of big brain technical stuff. So that's in hand, and the chaps are working on it. Most of our top errors right now, if we look at what's actually wrong with the site, are database issues, query timeouts, just huge volumes of data, and the issue is just compounded each day. As more users join, as more content is posted. Again, it's about money and available resources. So people ask all the time why we're using the technologies that we are using. Why aren't we using Hadoop and MapReduce and those cool database technologies? And it's just because we're working with what we can afford and what we have the team to support. So we don't have the means to drop $1,000 a day on $1,000 a day on a massive database server, or the people to actually support it. There's only 6 devs in the team. So we're doing the best with what we have, and we do appreciate your patience, of course. And we're actually probably more frustrated than you guys are. On that topic, I just learned a few minutes ago, we have temporarily disabled remixes, the remixed of or remixed from functionality, while we try to nail down some of the database performance issues. So that query that powers remixing could be a bad one that needs to be tweaked. So we've removed it right now, that functionality, until we can gather some data and see if that's actually causing problems for us. All right, let us start with some site developments that we've pushed over the past couple of weeks and some news. I think I've got a bunch of things here on my notes list. Okay, first thing, Illustrious. Popular model, kind of anime-focused model. I can tell you that Onoma AI the creators of the original Illustrious model will be dropping Illustrious XL onto the site next week. Now, it's meant to be a huge leap in the capabilities for the Illustrious ecosystem. I haven't seen it, I haven't used it. It would have been on the site this week, but the Korean Lunar New Year celebrations are ongoing right now, so next week. However, um, Zilla says, isn't Illustrious already XL? It is, yes, but this new model is called Illustrious XL. That's its name. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm not sure about the naming convention. I think it's like the current Illustrious is 0.3, I believe, or 0.1. Yeah, it's 0.1. So they're moving to a full release, which is Illustrious XL. However, per their request, the people that actually make Illustrious, the model weights will not be available for download. It's going to be on-site generation only. And there will not be any LoRa training at first, as there's some discussion that I need to have with them about requirements and stipulations that they want to have in place for LoRa training. But I am told that the new model is phenomenal. But again, yes, new version of Illustrious. It's their first, their first official full release. I believe the current version that we have is like a beta, and yeah, again, weights will not be available. Maybe in the future, I don't know. I'm not privy to that. But when it goes live, it will be on-site use only. And we have the ability to do that now. We had to put that in place for this. So this will be the first model that actually is only usable in the generator. You can actually see that if, let me see, have I got my profile open? Yeah. If you come to my profile and take a look at this Cozy Wiccan altars, I have actually set it to on-site use only. If you guys go to this URL or this model, you should only be able to create with it and not download it. So this was the model I was using to test this new functionality. When I say weights, I'm talking about safe tensors. Yes, that's right. The actual model, the safe tensors file, also known as the weights. Do you know if previous Illustrious LoRa's will work with the new release? I don't have that information, but I will find out. That is a good question. Let me note this down real quick. In my notepad, previous Illustrious worked with new release. I shall find out. Now, LoRa training for the new version will become available down the line, but we need to make some site updates to accommodate the requests that we've had from Onoma AI. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so small one today. Small generator improvements that you may have noticed or may not have noticed. If you pop the generator open, down at the bottom, there's now a button to view your generation queue, because we had a frightening number of people tell us that they had no idea how to see the images that they generated. So view generation queue, nice little change there. Brian has been working on updates to early access as well. So there will now be, don't think it's pushed to main yet, but when you add an additional resource that's in early access, you will now be able to see at a glance that it is in early access. You'll be able to purchase early access from the generator, and they'll also tell you when you're out of free trial generations. So big changes there. And before, we didn't tell you, it threw some errors if you tried to use an early access model. Just not great user experience there. All right, what else have we done? LoRa training enhancements. So this was maybe 2 weeks ago, can't remember, a week ago. We released dataset management options in the LoRa trainer, including the ability to reuse any previous training dataset that you've created in the past 30 days. Now, just to make you aware, we have updated the data retention policy to make it clear that we're now storing your training data for 30 days so that you can reuse it should you wish to. Okay, so I'll just say that again. beforehand, before this change, we were deleting your training data when you uploaded it to the site. After the training was complete, now we're holding it, we're storing it for 30 days, and we're making that available to you via the training. Let's see if I go and create a new model, I can show you what this means. Here, we've got 3 options here. We can import from the generator, images that I've generated recently. You can add from your profile, images that have been posted to your public profile, or you can reuse a data set. This one here, it shows you everything that you've trained with or uploaded in the last 30 days. So that's pretty cool. And you can actually select multiples and import them all together. So cool stuff. But yeah, just be aware of the retention policy, data retention policy has changed. Let me see, you've got a question here in the chat. Any news on the error could not get commands for Civitai link membership use? I think I'll mention that later on, but no, we have a developer working on that right now. I hope that that can be fixed fairly quickly, but it's definitely in hand. So if you're not aware of this issue, some users, not everyone, is having an issue with Civitai link, and it is unable to download models from the website correctly. But yeah, we're working on that one. All right, what else have we done? We have another trainer change is that we have brought the Atom W8-bit optimizer back to the site in the advanced options. So I'm happy that that one has made a comeback. Cool. All right, next one. Bring your own image. I'm sure you're all know about this. It's available for image to video right now. You've probably seen it. You can drop an image from any web page, including Civitai, into the generator and use that as a starting point for video generation. This has been so popular. I'm expecting that it will continue to be as we drop more video services. So we have LTXV on the way. We have Hunyuan, Cog Video X. All of these are coming to the site very soon. Some of them, like LTXV, the image to video is actually really good. The text to video, pretty jank, but the image to video is pretty good. And we're planning to offer that in-house on our own GPUs rather than have a partner API to take care of the processing, which will allow us to offer some lower cost video gen services. So I'm excited about getting some model and pricing variety, which will be a huge boost for video gen. If we pop open the create button here, you can see what I'm talking about. Start from an image. This is our bring your own image system. And then you have the ability to just drag in any image from the website or from Google Images or from your local PC or whatever. So pretty exciting. All right, speaking of video gen, yes, we are still working on getting the Hunyuan and the LTXV training, as well as inference, actual training on site. The Hunyuan LoRa's that we've already have are just phenomenally good. We've got questions in here. Will the video be available someday? Yes, absolutely. That's what we're working towards. But the LoRa training for these models is phenomenally good. There's like likeness models now, just phenomenal. So very soon, TM. Okay, next one. This is an exciting one. So private generation. I talked about this before, but I've got a little update for you. One of the devs is working on that this week. Private generation is the ability to generate from a model in your drafts without actually publishing it so that everyone else can see it. I've been designing it with one of our designers this week. It's looking good. I can give you a few details on how it's going to work. I can't show you anything. We don't have anything built yet. First, it is going to be subscriber only. If you want to generate privately, you're going to have a Civitai subscription. It will require an active subscription. As soon as your subscription lapses, you've just got no access to those models anymore. I mean, you can still see them, you can still publish them to the public side, but you won't be able to use them privately. Okay, it's coming in 2 forms. Firstly, after training a LoRa, when you get to the page which displays the epochs, Let me just look at this actually. Let's walk through this together. Can't show you what it looks like, but I can show you where it's going to be. Training. Let's look at a previously trained LoRa. Let's see. Hope it's not something sexy. Cool. Okay. So the LoRa training. When you get to this page, which is the page with all the epics, there will be a button on each epic allowing you to test each one by loading it into the generator and generating from it in this state here. So that's exciting. You can publish an epic directly. So this one, for example, which will make it public down the normal, how it works right now, the normal flow. Or you can choose to save the epic. A model card will be created for it, and it will appear in your profile on a new tab next to published called saved. Anything that's saved is not public. It's just for you. When it's here in this tab, which doesn't exist, which will exist, as long as you maintain your subscription, like I mentioned, you'll be able to use it in the generator as much as you want. There's no limits, no caps. It's going to be free for use. Obviously, you have to pay Buzz, but yes, you'll be able to use it privately. Now, of course, there are a number of moderation considerations, which we'll cover when this is nearer to launch, but that is the gist of it. So you'll be able to test your epics before you publish, and then you'll have the choice of publishing, going through the normal flow, or you'll have the choice to save it but not publish it, save it and use it privately. So, what do you think of that? Hopefully, that's a good change or addition. Cool. Next, let's talk about daily challenges. Okay, so we have slowly been adjusting the daily challenges based on your feedback, and there are still a huge number of improvements to be made. I've been discussing it with Justin, and he has agreed to spending some dev time to building something a little more fit for purpose. No details yet. So in the meantime, it's business as usual, daily challenge wise. Expect it to be a little janky, but in the near future, we're going to actually make something good. So there you go. Daily challenges. It has some challenges. It's not what a lot of people expected it to be, but we're going to get it to that point. All right. A few weeks ago, we did onboard 80 new 4090 cards, graphics cards, and we have more coming early February. They're being brought online slowly, and we've already seen really good improvements to the generator. So they're a lot faster than our salad workers, our cloud workers, and we're now doing the work of 70% of our cloud-based generation, or salad generation, with a quarter of the number of our in-house GPUs. So that's huge. Big benefit there is speed of generation, stability improvements, and the ability to open up more checkpoints eventually. But let's talk about that real quick. They've first of all, Cosmic Crafter, the daily challenge does not need any more snakes. I think we're all looking forward to a change there. So yeah, no more snakes. Checkpoints in the generator. So no change right now to the number of checkpoints available just yet. I keep on. That's the official line. It has been for months. Unfortunately, we're doing everything that we can and exploring all avenues to open this up. Let's see. I think I mentioned that we won't be moving forward with the first provider that we were evaluating. Other providers we're still exploring that. The first one, we just didn't have the kind of financial resources that they requested to be able to make it happen, unfortunately. So yeah, a bit disappointing. It would have been big, but we're not disheartened, and we still have other options. So that is still the goal, is to open up every checkpoint on site. Okay, now this one, additional resource charging. I thought this would have been pushed into main by now, but I think it's I think it's committed, but it isn't quite live. It will probably be live by the end of the day. We talked about this a few months ago, and it's finally here ish. Like I just said, it's almost out. We released our transparency report at the end of December. You can find that by going to the newsroom down here. It's right here, Civitai's 2024 transparency report. And you've all seen that we are definitely not winning. Why did I click that? It details our finances here. So this, what we're just proposing here, new pricing model, is, oh goodness, here it comes. Yeah, I know. I see. New stuff to break the site. It's not that. It's stuff to no, it's the opposite, really. It is a necessary step, I would say, for us to try to keep things going. So going back to the start of the video where I talked about the database issues, and how we are constrained by money and resources, changes like this one are directly related to that. We need to spend less in certain areas so we can spend more on critical infrastructure if we want any chance of keeping the site running into the future. So a recap on what this is we're going to be placing a very small buzz surcharge on resources added to the generator, but we're talking minuscule amounts here. So based on analysis of how users actually use the generator, most people will see between a 1 to 3 buzz increase per image. There are a number of exclusions, models, and files which just don't incur any additional cost. So it's all detailed in this article, which will be going live. It talks about the cost here. It's incremental, so the more LoRa's that you stack onto your generations, the more you'll have to pay. But the people that will only really feel it is the people stacking 12 LoRa's or 6 and above, really. And that's diminishing returns anyway. We've been telling people for a long time, you're going to get better generations, the less is more when it comes to um, adding LoRa's. It's all in here. I don't really need to go through it right now, but there's some exclusions. So VAs aren't covered. Anything that's over or under 10 megabytes in size isn't going to have an additional charge applied, incur additional costs. So embeddings all out. VAs are excluded from this, and anything that is in the featured models you're going to be able to use for free. So another incentive to get your content featured. Further to this change, let's jump back to the homepage here. Further to this change, right now everyone is generating in the same image gen queue. We're planning to add new boost options to allow you to skip the image generation line a little. That will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. Much of the generation time that you guys are facing is just waiting for a GPU to become available to process your image. So we're going to do a wee experiment. We're rolling out priority pricing to subscribers only to gather some data. The way I understand it's going to work is that you'll see the count of the number of jobs waiting ahead of you in a number of buckets or like priority levels, I guess you could call it. And you'll be able to use Buzz to push your request into increasingly smaller pools. So just like a queue skipper. It's going to be very experimental, and the plan is to release it to subscribers potentially next week. Remember that subscribers make up an absolutely tiny segment of the total number of users generating images. So we'll see if that impacts durations, timings for generation across the board. The next step will be to roll out in open beta the following week for a period of time to gather kind of a wider range of metrics, and then we'll decide what the strategy is going forward. Disney Fast Pass for gens, kind of. Yeah, it could be thought of like that. Wasn't there a button like that which did nothing in the generator a long time ago? Was there? I don't believe so. Yeah, I don't believe so. Unseely's asking a question in the chat here. Is there any public data on when generator loads are highest? There's not, but there's not a downtime. There's not a low time. We generate a new image every like 120 milliseconds, and that never stops. It's 24 hours. So it doesn't really. There's always somebody generating something on the generator. There is not a good downtime, if that's what you were, yeah, asking. Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah, that's true. The load is a bit lower when the server crashes. Yep. Peak usage, couldn't tell you, to be honest. Yeah, 24/7. It's a bit like it's a bit like the LoRa trainer. LoRa people were asking me earlier, when does the LoRa trainer, have downtime? When should I submit my LoRa? There's not a good time. We're training close to 5,000 LoRa's every single day, and there's always a queue, there's always a backlog, and it never stops. We never manage to get the backlog cleared. We're always churning away. So until we can get a huge number of GPUs, yeah, we should have a graph on the GPU usage. It's not quite as simple as that, unfortunately. I mean, we've got a bunch of dashboards behind the scenes, but I don't think there's anything that we could present to the front end that would actually make sense. We can talk about how many GPUs we've got online. It's usually sitting around about 2,000. And yeah, there's a lot of metrics that we have that aren't exposed. Interesting metrics. I know everyone loves metrics, loves stats. So maybe we could look at exposing those. I'll make a note for you guys. I'll see what we can do. Metrics, GPU usage. Let me just check my Discord real quick. I'm being pinged. What's going wrong? Nope, we're all good. Okay, let's move on. Remixing. Yes, so we did release the first iteration of remixing last week. I talked about it at the start. We've had to disable part of it just to see if it improves database speed. We know there's a few issues, aside from that one, obviously. We know there are a few issues, but just getting this out the door is a huge deal for us, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out generally. So sometimes, one big update that we've made, sometimes you'll see the remix button on images which only have a modicum of metadata. They might have a seed, they might have a step count, but no actual positive prompt, which is absolutely useless. So we've changed that logic so that the remix button will only appear if the image is actually remixable, if it has a positive prompt. And that in turn has made the image feed filter metadata only, I think it's called, more akin to a remixable filter. Unfortunately, it only applies to images posted on the site from yesterday going forward. We can't backfill all the millions of images that we currently have right now, but it's still a step in the right direction. So the remix button should only apply if there is a positive prompt, or the create button, I should say. Second change related to remixing. So if you remix from an existing image, but you don't, let's just try it out here real quick. Here we go. So it's recognized that I want to remix this image. I want to create a remix of it. If you don't change the prompt or the settings significantly, when you post that image, it will be labeled in the bottom right-hand corner as a remix. It'll have a remix indicator, much like we have the yellow flash in the corner for images that are made on site. It's green. When you click into that remixed image, you'll see a thumbnail of the original image that it was remixed from. So will we eventually be notified and being asked when someone remixes one of our images? I mean, if you want to have millions of notifications, yes. I don't even know if we could support that. Yeah, I'm not sure if we could support that, to be honest. The number of remixes every day is just wild. So that's probably why we haven't put that in place. The remix system, yeah, okay, so it's not quite Artbreeder. If you've seen Artbreeder, they have a whole lineage of where images came from. It's really pretty cool. You should go and check it out. But like I said, this is the first iteration of this system, and we are hoping to expand it in future. And we do know there are some issues with it. It's gonna take some tweaking. A counter on the image, the number of times remixed, maybe. A lot of the reason why we don't put things in place that seem like they would be good ideas is because of the database issue. remix counts. So a lot of these things that we have actually thought of, but we've had to discount because the database just can't handle that sort of metric. All right. Let's see. So tentative explorations. Again, nothing concrete here, and I can't even show it to you because it's full of degenerate content, but members have access to the Civitai Vault. Subscribers, I should say, have access to the Vault. If you don't know what that is, it's part of the paid subscription. You receive this huge chunk of storage space to securely save checkpoints and LoRa's in case they're deleted from the system by the creator. So say the creator decides to take their checkpoints or their LoRa's elsewhere, you still have download access to it. So we're exploring the idea of using this space for other things, like saving your generator creations. Usually the generator images that aren't posted to your profile are only saved for 30 days, and also your training data sets, 30 days there as well. So should you elect to keep them, we're exploring the idea of using your vault space for that. We're also exploring the idea of being able to generate from your vault. So if there are models or LoRa's in your vault which are no longer on the site, you may still be able to generate with them from your vault directly. So that is exciting. Let's see, I've got a bunch of small changes in my notes as well. Model version notifications. So there's logic in place to prevent new notifications from being created within 12 hours of the model's posting time, to prevent users from getting an absolute flood of notifications. And I have just revised this last week down to 2 hours. So if you create a model, your followers will get a notification. If you create a new version of that model within 2 hours, they will not get anything further. But out with those 2 hours, that window, sure, they'll be notified. And it was 12 hours previously, it's 2 hours now. So if you're going to release a new version and you want your followers to be notified, just make sure that you release that new version 2 hours after the original model was posted. We just didn't want people to be getting a whole flood of notifications. All right. Speaking of notifications, we are adding, or have added, I don't think it's gone out yet, notifications for bounties created by creators that you follow. That one's been notable in its absence for a while. Let's see, what else have we added? We added a detection category. Detection category. I have to enunciate these things. In the model feed filters for the YOLO AD Taylor detection models. There's only about 70 of them on site, I think, but new ones do continue to be uploaded, and it feels odd that they have to be listed under other. So now there is a category for them. I'm going to go to the models feed. Yeah, let's just do it. Don't get banned, please. Don't get banned. Hey, that's not too bad. Okay, so in here under filters, there is now a model type detection. Okay, and in here, no results found because I'm filtering to Flux as well. Let's see. Okay, there we go. We've got 2 so far. Obviously, there's no way for us to change them automatically from other to detection. So I'm going to go through, find as many as I can, and start switching their type to detection so they start to appear in here. But that's what those are. They're for a detailer, or face detailer in Comfy, and they are detection models for detecting things like this one, jewelry model, there's penis models, there's face models, everything. So that's it. It's exciting. Now, let's see. React tours. Not so much a big deal for you guys because a lot of you are power users, I think. But new users that come to the site will be guided through a number of kind of first steps upon their account creation, holding their hand through creating their first image and publishing it to the site, because the site is particularly difficult to navigate. So that's exciting. Let's see what has been happening. Issues over the past week, not related to the infrastructure. Age classifier for the LoRa trainer failed this morning. And when it does, it fails in a safe state, which means that all training data sets are sent for review. And I had 110 to approve this morning, and I did get all of these moving. Nobody should still be in paused status right now. Civitai Link, yes, somebody mentioned that at the start. Civitai Link has stopped working for some people. We have a dev on the case, and he is picking it apart right now, and we're hoping to have it back up this week. Let's see. Late on Monday night, I think, we had an issue with the API keys, which resulted in almost everyone getting 401s when they opened up the generator, and their previous generations just didn't display. That was also to do with Redis. Surprise, surprise. That should be completely resolved for everyone now. Buzz dashboard, still not correct, I believe. The charts aren't showing data which matches with the transaction log, which is super funky. And I have a dev looking into that one. I did think this was fixed last week, but apparently not. Cling API. Now, not good news on the Cling video gen front, unfortunately. Cling doubled their API pricing out of the blue, so we had to do the same. Pretty disappointing. I think it's due to their new 1.6 model, which they rolled out, which it's good. It's a great model, but it's expensive. They updated their API. All their pricing just, overnight just doubled. So we've had to apply that price change. That does bring me back to some of the on-site video generation options that we're hoping to get rolled out soon. Running on our own hardware, so we're not beholden to these API services. We don't have to make these drastic changes. Let's see. This is a hilarious one. A hilarious change that I had to make this morning. I have a PR open for it. I think it's already merged. Somebody can go and test it for me, or maybe. It is for account deletions. You'd think it would be super difficult to delete your account by mistake, but apparently it isn't, because we get half a dozen every week, people telling us that they've accidentally deleted their account. So I made some changes to this flow this morning. Now, when you click the delete button at the bottom of the settings page, you'll have to actually type in delete in this box before the button becomes active. And then you'll get a second chance after that. Even after you've typed in delete, you'll get a second chance to stop and go back. Yeah, accidentally, I know. So a few additional ways to avoid mistakenly deleting your account. This should be live right now. Or, deleting your account in a drunken rage. I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. But SwiftBot hasn't tricked anyone into doing it for a long time. That was a one-time thing. Only one person did it. That's not fair. And I don't think it's what does this button do either, because it's very, very clear that it's very clear. Once you delete, there's no going back. Do you think they just want to see if there's a confirmation after this button? Is that what it is? I'm not clicking it. Not in prod anyway. But anyway, just something odd that we have to deal with. And the worst thing is that we cannot restore. We don't have backups. Okay, that's not true. We do have backups of the site, of all your accounts, of all the buzz. We've got backups. But we can only restore it in the event of an emergency. We're talking, act of God, the data center burns down, something like that. So it's an all or nothing thing. It's not. We can't restore piecemeal. It would be good to have 7 days to restore your account. Why? We've given you so many chances to not delete it. Just walk away from your PC, and we don't have the ability to pull things back from the depths. We could soft delete accounts, I suppose. Maybe. Yeah, I can suggest it. Do you lose your gens when you delete your account? You lose everything. Well, that's not quite true. You do get a choice. If you've got models, the second confirmation box asks you if you want to purge everything. There's a choice. If you choose no, all your models and all your content gets transferred to the Civitai account and unpublished, so we still have it. So there's a few options there. Cat Girls Forever says Civbot did what? Yeah, so one time somebody asked how to delete some of their images. I think they were trying to like manage their profile. I don't know, and Civbot told them that the only way they could remove. Oh, I know what it was. I know what it was. It was on your showcase. These images that appear here, it's not entirely obvious how to manage these showcase images. We all know that you go to customize profile and right at the bottom, you can click these buttons to manage these images. But Civbot didn't know that. And the way the guy was asking was kind of, it made it difficult for him to understand. And he said the only way to do this is to delete your whole account. And he directed them how to do that. And they did it. So, not great. Let's see. Do we delete your data immediately on delete? No, yeah, it's gone immediately. As soon as you delete and you choose to purge, it's gone. Yeah, yeah. Not your images. So images that you've created and posted, they do hang out. They're orphaned. They do not get deleted with your account. And if you read the terms of service, that is stated when you sign up. Has the cost for draft mode changed? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. It shouldn't have. Not to my knowledge. All right, let's move on. We're already at an hour almost. So contests. Okay, Project Odyssey Season 2 is in full swing. If you weren't aware, Project Odyssey, the filmmaking contest, it's now the largest AI film competition with over $70,000 in cash prizes. And the submission period closed last week, 2 weeks ago, closed last week. The judging has now begun. So winners will be announced on February 14th. There will be an awards show like we had in San Francisco last time. I don't know where it'll be, but it's going to be live streamed. That is exciting. Question there in the chat: do you lose your gens? They're orphaned. They do stay on the site, and you cannot get them back. So if you delete your account, we're back to deleting account again. Sorry, guys. Yes, if you delete your account, your generations are orphaned. You cannot get them back. But the generations feed, your generation feed, everything's gone. Anything that you haven't posted to your profile is gone. It's only things that you've actually posted to your profile that do remain. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Contests. There will be a Valentine's contest, I'm told. I don't know the details yet. Just watch this space. But yes, there will be a Valentine's Day contest. Okay. Another thing that I do want to bring up. Let me go back to the homepage here. All right. I'd like to talk a little bit about our real people policy again. So this week, quite a popular TikToker made a video about her experience finding a LoRa of her likeness on Civitai. She submitted a likeness claim, and I took the model down the same day. I saw quite a few folk in the comments of the video saying how creepy it is that this exists, variations on how illegal it is, and so on. And I have a few thoughts about this. So firstly, we're acknowledging reality. AI likeness models exist, whether platforms allow them or not. What we're doing, we're providing a structured and ethical framework that ensures people have control over their likeness, while also supporting responsible AI development. When I say people have control, they do. We don't ask for DMCAs or letters from lawyers to get these taken down. All it takes is an email or a DM even. And we may ask someone to send us a message from their official socials if it's a bit iffy, but that's the extent of it. You don't have to fight with us. We don't make it difficult to claim your likeness. It's also about minimizing harm, not ignoring it. So simply banning real people models is not going to stop them from existing. It's just going to push them underground onto platforms with zero oversight, zero accountability, because models of real people are not going away. But by implementing clear, enforceable policies like we have, Civitai is setting a precedent on how likeness models should be handled responsibly by all sites. And we are trying to foster this creative and ethical use of this content. We're thinking ahead with this too, so kind of trying to shape the conversation somewhat. AI generated likenesses are becoming a bigger issue in entertainment, in journalism, personal privacy. So I'm sure you've seen Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan, trying to sell you some fitness supplement in a YouTube short recently, or whichever politician spouting some clever disinformation. So how we handle real person likenesses today is going to shape laws and policies, which I'm sure are coming in the future. And I feel that Civitai is ahead of the curve by implementing structure that respects creators and individuals. So if you do find your likeness on Civitai and you would like it removed, it's not a problem. Just let me know. You can email me at digital-likeness@civitai.com, or even directly at ali@civitai.com. Daz makes a really good point that Civitai has had this rule from the very beginning when it was founded. So we've always allowed people to claim their likeness and have it removed from the site very easily. We've never allowed real people to be depicted in a way that is not appropriate. And that's one of the things that this TikToker said in her video, was that she's found these images and they are respectful, they're safe for work, but they are her. So that's all I have to say there. Okay, now next one. I need your help. And I would like you all to listen up on this one because this is quite important and there's something in it for you guys as well. Full details to follow. I'm writing an article on this right now, hoping to get it out on the site by Friday. There will be a monetary reward involved if your implementation is chosen. So please listen up. As you're aware, we do have a number of protection systems in the image generator to avoid illegal content being generated. Now, we've been kind of coy about those systems. We haven't really released how it's working for good reason. We don't want people reverse engineering these systems. These systems have done a great job for older model ecosystems, 1.4, 1.5, SDXL, no problem, and Pony even, no problem. But now that we've got Flux, we've got Illustrious, we've got Nubii, we're finding that we have to update our strategy. They're just not working as well as they used to. One second here. Cosmic Crafter is asking for the emails to go in the chat on likeness removal. Digital likeness at civitai.com is one, or ali@civitai.com is another. And if you head to the bottom of the website, the Safety Center down here, click this one. We've got a bit about responsible resource development. We've got a bit about content policies. And if you expand some of these, the Real People policy, you will find a link and a form down here to request the removal of your likeness. All right. Yoritaku is also correct there. If you find models of real people which are dressed inappropriately, then let us know. That content is going to be removed immediately. That's against our content policies that I'm looking at right now. Okay. Let's go back here. Okay, so we're talking about protection systems for the image generator and how they worked for previous ecosystems, but they're not quite as effective for Flux and Illustrious, and we need to update these strategies. So we're trying to put in place an LLM-based prompt modification system. So when a prompt is submitted, which contains minor content or sexual content or a combination of both, we need the LLM to rewrite that in such a way that the core theme of the prompt is retained, if possible, but the minor or the sexual elements are stripped out. Justin and I have made some progress over the past couple of weeks. We have a pretty comprehensive system prompt, bunch of context, and we've been trying different LLM models such as Llama 3.1 7B, Mistral 7B, Phi, even DeepSeek, which we'll touch on later. But we're struggling for consistency. Now, this is where you guys come in. I know a lot of you have probably got much more experience with LLMs than we do. So I will be sharing all of our work up to this point. You can review it, you can build upon it, you can discard it if you think we're going about this the wrong way, and you can start afresh. I will supply clear requirements and a way for you guys to upload your work to us. We'll review your submissions and we will pay the winner, whoever can build the best implementation for this, a cash bounty. We're looking at about $1,000 right now, maybe more. We'll be flexible here if we have multiple implementations that can be combined to work for us. So $1,000 for whomever can come up with a solution to our issue here. If you think you have the knowledge to make this work, we would obviously greatly appreciate your help. Keep an eye on the site announcements. As soon as I have the article with the requirements and the ability for you to submit your work, then I will post an announcement at the top of the site. Zilla says no AI modifying stuff. I don't think you understand what's at stake here. Nobody should be making illegal content. Nobody should be making CSAM. There is no place for that. And we cannot have it on the website. It's just morally wrong. I don't think there should be any backlash on sensible safety systems. People would just go to another AI network website without censorship. It's not. How is it censorship? Just stopping people creating CSAM? So firstly, the site's not going to be the site is not going to exist if we allow the creation of CSAM. We're going to be sued into oblivion. Governments are already looking at us. Legally wrong, morally wrong, absolutely. So if that's the kind of content that you want to create, there's no place on Civitai for you. These are sensible protections that we've always had. We're already modifying your outputs. This is just a system for the new generation of ecosystems, of model ecosystems. How many red warnings does you get before a ban? A lot of topics on banning. Okay, so we can talk about this for a little bit. If you post CSAM to civitai.com, I will ban your account immediately. There is no place for CSAM on civitai.com, and we do ban people for the first instance of posting CSAM, either generating it on site or trying to generate it on site and being caught, or generating it off site and posting it to the site. You'll be banned instantly. For other infractions, less severe infractions, we have a 3-strike system. You will be warned 3 times, up to 3 times, before you're banned. But can I confirm what is CSAM? CSAM stands for Child Sexual Abuse Material. Okay? And we don't just ban accounts, we also report a number of users to NCMEC. We work with the National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children. And we do report to NCMEC. NCMEC is a government program. It's private sector technically, but it's I think it was founded by the government, and it's the FBI technically. Their child exploitation section. So the most egregious content that is uploaded is reported to NCMEC. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about people trying to generate text prompts which contain illegal content. And we need to stop that. And we could use your help in coming up with a sensible way to do so. And we're going to incentivize it by putting a bounty on this of $1,000. I heard you have 3 bans before suspension. I don't know what this. It's not quite the right terminology there in the chat. You get 3 warnings for, harassment maybe, less kind of minor infractions of the terms of service. There's 3 strikes. You'll be warned once, you'll be warned a second time, and then you can be warned a third time, and then you'll be banned from the website permanently. Either your account will be closed or you'll be given an IP ban. You can be warned more times than the 3 strikes if you've just been, you know, committing minor offenses, but that's usually the 3 strikes rule that we go by. But if it is an infraction like CSAM, there's a zero tolerance policy there. Child sexual abuse material, trying to create it, trying to train with it, trying to upload it, you will be removed immediately. Your account will be banned immediately. A warning on the generator is not the same as a strike. Correct. Yes, that's a good distinction. So if you put in illegal content in this prompt box with an intent to create CSAM, you will receive a warning. We do have current systems that check these prompts, so you will receive a warning. That's not the same as a strike. It's not the same as an official warning. If you get multiple of these warnings, I think it's 4 within an hour, then your account will be sent for review. It'll be suspended, if you like. It'll be sent for review, and a human, usually our moderation team lead, Seb, will review your account. He'll look at everything you've uploaded. He will look at your DMs. He will look at your prompts, and he will determine whether your account can remain on the site. So we do have a human input on this. It's not completely AI. That's right. Your attacker says that warnings on the generator, which you'll get here, are applied automatically, but strikes are always manual. Strikes are always applied by a moderator. Seb is human, allegedly, yes. Never met them, never met him, so I don't really know, but okay. Glad we cleared that up. Wasn't expecting to have the censorship conversation alongside CSAM, but here we are. Lastly, the Education Hub. Do have to mention the Education Hub. It's over here somewhere. This one here. It has transitioned to a new server. I moved it over last week. Few broken links, nothing horrendous. But I did take time to do some spring cleaning and update a bunch of the guides. So if you haven't checked out the Education Hub, ever before or just in a while, I would encourage you to do so. There's some really good general Civitai and I guess general educational content, and I update it frequently. One thing I wanted to mention again is DeepSeek. We tried it out for our LLM, our prompt modification LLM, but has anyone played with it? I recently published an intro to LLMs on the Education Hub here. I had a chance to play with it a little bit yesterday, and I am impressed. It's fascinating, absolutely, it's fascinating. It runs on a potato, good general outputs, MIT license, true open source. For those of you who don't follow the LLM news, this model dropped from China this week. Was it Monday or maybe Friday of last week? Maybe the weekend. A few days ago, allegedly trained for a tiny fraction, like 100th of the price of OpenAI's models, completely free and open source, with performance on par, allegedly, to OpenAI's O1 model-ish. It's definitely good. I'm not sure it's that good, but it certainly made waves in the tech world. It caused NVIDIA stock to plummet on Monday. President Trump spoke about it. He spoke about how it would drive competition in the West. And I think I even saw Sam Altman talk about how it would speed up the ChatGPT release schedule somewhat. So exciting times, just wild. If you never played with an LLM before, by the way, you have to. Um, Such good fun, especially the sexy chit chat, right? Uh, we know what we should do a stream actually. Let me make a note. Let me make a note here. Let's get a stream going next week, maybe. Tyler and I have been looking for an opportunity to collaborate on stream. Let's see, stream. This has given me some ideas. We could maybe get an LLM, like an intro to LLM stream going at some point with some characters. Cool. All right, check this out though. Guide to DeepSeek's mentioned here about how to get started. Whole bunch of interfaces you can use to get started with DeepSeek. I use LM Studio. There's a bunch of details below on how that works, and this one here. So, but yeah, going back, let's go back real quick and to the prompt modification. I'll just reiterate again, this week at some point, hopefully Friday, I'll have a notification up, I'll have an article, and I'll have a way that you can submit your submissions for this project if you would like to contribute, if you've got any LLM knowledge whatsoever. So really excited about what you guys are going to come up with. There's a $1,000 bounty on this, potentially more depending on how many great submissions we get. And what we're looking for is some sort of prompt modification LLM that will strip out sexual content from a prompt as if you're turning off. The reason that we're using this one is, let me change from Flux to something else real quick. Dreamshaper 8. So we have the mature content toggle here. Some people just want to make sure that they don't receive any mature content at all. They want safer work prompts, they want safer work images, and that's why we have this mature content toggle. When you apply the mature content toggle, it applies special protections that we have behind the scenes. We need to change that. We're going to change that via prompt modification. It's going to run through an LLM and strip out all the sexy chit chat from your prompt while kind of maintaining the rest of the prompt, rest of the image. And that is why we need to be able to identify via LLM, sexual context, sexual content, all these sorts of tokens, remove them. But it's kind of a twofold thing. So we've got sexual content removal for mature content, and then we have the ability to identify and remove minor terms in conjunction with sexual content. And we have been trying for the last couple of weeks, and we're having some trouble with it. So you guys, you probably know more about this than we do. So we're going to open this up. All right. Very exciting. Cool. That's it for me today then. I think that's it anyway, is it? Look at my notes real quick. Yeah. I will see you all again on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, next Wednesday. In the meantime, any questions or concerns, please reach out to me on site DMs or email me, ali@civitai.com. Or if you're having a site issue, which we believe might impact more than just yourself, please create a ticket from the support button down in the bottom right-hand corner down here. There is the ticket link to the ticket portal here. Or you can just email support@civitai.com. Now be aware that one of our support agents, Jane, is off this entire week. Joey has been manning the support desk like Michael Caine at Rorke's Drift. So patience, please. We all need some time off sometime, and Joey is doing the best he can. That's it then. If there's no questions. No questions? Oh yeah, okay. If you guys want to get started on this, before I actually post the requirements, we will be running prompt modification locally on our own GPUs. So there's no, we're going to try and run it on 4090s, 24 gigabytes of VRAM. So that's what you've got to work with the models. I've been trying to use the 7 billion parameter models, 5 gig up to 8 gig. But if you know of a model that you think would work that's bigger, go ahead, as long as it fits within 24 gigabytes of VRAM. And I will post, I'll put all that information into an article which will get onto the site very soon. Last question here. Who is the granny that I'm making? It's no one specific. This granny here? I know, I knew someone would notice that. I had to do a test, you see. You had to test generation, had to make a granny. Yep. No one specific. All right, guys. That's it from me. It has been a pleasure talking to you all. I will catch you next time, next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to put the VOD for this up on Twitch just after we finish here. And lovely to see you all. Thanks again for joining. We'll be in touch. Bye-bye.